Chase is the founder of the Bucketlist lifestyle, and he has been traveling the world for 6 years, completing his own bucket list on an epic journey of self-discovery and experience. Now, he helps others complete their bucket list items by taking small groups on epic adventures. He is a speaker and adventure junkie who is here today to talk with us about how we can incorporate more adventure and fun into our everyday lives. Chase, you ready to rock this?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Awesome, dude. You are now live on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self, baby. Woo!
Dude, how many hours have you been doing this? This is like, I'm feeling your vibe, man. You're gonna bring me up too. I can't even.
We're only 4 hours in, man. Only 4 hours in. We're just getting started.
All right.
I love it, man. So thank you for coming on today. You're doing some amazing things and creating adventure and fun in the world, and I believe we could all use a little bit more of that. So thanks for sharing that with our audience today.
Absolutely, man. I'm super, super pumped to be here. Honestly, like just you announcing like the next people who are speaking, I'm like, I want to know that. I want to know everything. Like I'm going to get off this and then start listening to the next people.
That's
because
right.
That's
dope. Right. Dropping value bombs, baby. Speaking of dropping value bombs, we like to drop value bombs in the very beginning by asking a question based on the theme of the day, which is leap before you're ready. And I am sure 1000% that you have some serious relationship with this concept and this principle, given who you are and what you teach people. So share with us about how this philosophy has played a part in your life, man.
Massively. So leap before you're ready. You will never, ever be ready. And that's what I learned on my journey. I was a caregiver. And I was a caregiver for years, and I was traveling the world. I had the bucket list lifestyle as a caregiver. And I knew that I was meant to be an adventurer. I knew that I was meant to be an entrepreneur, but that safety and that security was comfortable. And I wasn't ready to let that go for years. I could have let that job go years ago, but I didn't. I kept on to it because I wasn't ready, because there wasn't enough money saved up. There wasn't, enough security. How am I going to make enough money there was just the unknown. And guess what unknown begets? Fear. So when I finally decided, okay, you know what? I'm never, ever going to be ready. Never. There will always be that fear. I just have to fucking do it.
Yep.
I just have to do it. I have to cut the cord. And that doesn't mean that one day I woke up and I said, man, I just got to do it. And I quit that day. What that means is I said, okay, I just have to do it. No matter what, I'm going to be scared. I'm never going to be ready. So how am I going to actually do this? No more BS. I'm not going to lie to myself anymore that it'll be one day, that it'll be 6 months from now. No, how much money exactly do I need to quit this job? And then I figured that out. Cool. I need $15,000 to feel comfortable with quitting this job, and that's realistic for me. So I said, okay, if I sold everything that I owned, if I saved every penny, if I cancel my TV subscription, if I cancel my freaking Pandora Prime, like everything in my life, I just got down to the bare bones because I finally got in touch with what really mattered, which was freedom. So I did it. I started working my ass off. I sold everything that I owned, and I actually took that leap. And guess what? I wasn't ready because I'll never be ready. Right. I wasn't. And at the same time, because I'll never be ready, I will never not be ready. It's just one and the same. Yeah. It's all perspective.
Right.
So just understanding that and just knowing that, yeah, I'm not ready on one part of my brain. And in reality, I'm always ready.
Yep.
To do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's never a place where you get to where you have all the answers. So it's like this duality where, yes, we're not ready, and there's always questions and unknowns and uncertainty that will always exist. That will, infinitely forever exist. So in that sense, we can acknowledge that and say, okay, in that sense, I'm ready, because I've acknowledged that. I've seen that. I have recognized that. And it doesn't stop me from taking the leap, from taking the action. It doesn't take away from the present moment and what I really want. So, okay, I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that a lot of what you just said, it matters so much where you actually get aligned with what you want, like really getting aligned with your vision and making that real and making that an actual possibility for you. Once you create possibility, that's when action can be had. But until you create that it's even possible for you, because for me, it sure as hell wasn't. I grew up in a town of 300 people, growing up in a trailer in the woods where money wasn't a thing. Travel wasn't a thing. Owning your own business wasn't a thing. So, and I'm sure that a lot of people here can relate, when you don't have a lot of money and when you have just a regular job that gives you a paycheck, you don't necessarily, you think, oh, that's for someone else's life. Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah, it'd be nice to travel the world, to make money, to, live wherever I want, do whatever I want. But that's kind of crazy. That's not for me. And we separate ourselves and we disconnect from possibility in our lives because of the feeling that we are not enough. So when we can actually accept that what one person can do, any person can do. When we can really, really sit with that and believe it truly, that's when we can actually start to take action. But it has to be possible first.
Damn. Dude, we're digging in deep. This is some gold right here. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. I love it. I love it, man. Chase, this is gold, man. For everyone who's watching right now or listening to the replay, why don't you type in gold, because this is some serious gold. Or type in possibility. Let's type in possibility. Possibility even better. You can type in both, gold and possibility.
Absolutely. And just that quote. That quote changed my life. Wow. What one person can do, any person can do. It was told to me by my very first life coach. He said, what one man can do, any man can do. And that really, when I sat with that and I meditated on that, that changed my entire life. Because I just thought, because I started to meet these people like my coach. I met him in person. He was my hero. I put him on this pedestal of, oh my God, he's perfect in every way. He is the ultimate man. He's the ultimate human being. And then I met him and we traveled together in Peru. And it was like, oh, you're a dude. Oh, you're a person.
You're not a god.
Yeah, like you are gonna, take a shower with rainwater just like me, and you're gonna, go to a bathroom in the hole, and you're gonna have your fears about everything too, because you're a dude, you're a human being. Yeah. And when I humanized the people who are doing these things that I wanted to do, that's when I started to realize, wow, what one man can do, really any man can do, because we all are simply that. We're just people.
Dude, I love it. I love it. So Chase, you have all this wisdom. You're already dropping the wisdom on us and like some incredible philosophies on life, on how to approach life and really ride the waves and get the most out of it, have the most fun, make it the best adventure we possibly can. Tell us a little bit more about the bucket list lifestyle and how this has all like come together for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think without telling at least the nutshell of why I even wrote a bucket list, then the rest is just a moot point. So
let's hear it, man. Let's hear it.
I grew up in this small town, right? So I didn't have a lot of possibility for myself. I didn't think that it was really, living a life of adventure, owning a business, anything like that was really for me. And I married my high school sweetheart in this town of 300 people. And I bought the house, bought the cars, worked double shift to try and afford my mortgage and all this debt, had the dogs, getting ready to start a family. And that's when I found out that she was cheating on me with one of my best friends. And in a small town, you can't keep a secret like that long. So we ended up getting a divorce, and my heart was just shattered. Just absolutely. Not only my heart was shattered, my reality was shattered of what life is, what love is, what we were, what I am supposed to be doing on this earth. And when my entire reality was shattered, that's when I went into a really deep, dark depression. And I had to really come to terms with ending my life. And that was a very real possibility for me. And in that darkness is actually when I started to have this daydream of what a life without giving a fuck at all would be like, without caring what anyone else thought. A life really living in as a person who's already dead, and a person who could just do anything because they've already gone to the depths. They've already died, and now they can just do whatever they want. So it's like extra innings. So I started to write a bucket list of what could a life be like if it was, and reminder, this was a daydream for me. This was not like, I'm going to do this. and just writing out, running with the bulls in Spain, trek through the jungle on an elephant in Thailand, fly an airplane, have an open conversation with my father, get to know my grandpa, coach my kids' baseball teams, build a tree house, do things, the epic things and the things that I've always wanted to do from a personal level. And this was never going to be shared. This was incredibly personal to me in my darkest time. And I eventually, after writing this list of 100 things, I had to come to terms with, okay, am I going to end it? Am I going to let the darkness take over? And that was very real, a possibility. And, or am I just going to live, like fully live? No fucks given, all in, do it. And I chose the latter. I chose to do it, knowing that I still may end it. I still may start on that path and then go back. So I sold some things, I saved my money, and I bought a ticket to Spain to run with the bulls. Granted, remember, I had never been out of the country my entire life. So this was insane. And I even put some of that on a credit card because I figured, hell, I'd probably never have to even pay it off anyways. So through that trip, through experiencing what it's like to be close to death again, but in a real physical adrenaline way, I even got a horn up through my elbow from one of the bulls. And it was a very visceral, adrenaline-filled experience. And I felt alive. I felt alive. Like my body was shaking with fear and adrenaline. And through that, I kissed another woman, which was a huge deal for me. I'd only kissed 2 women in my entire life at that point. So feeling what it's like to, oh my God, I feel attractive again. And feeling what it's like to, wow, there is possibility for me. Wow, we should just call this episode Possibility with Chase Boehringer. There was possibility for me. And I started to live this bucket list lifestyle. I started I was still a caregiver. I was still working a normal job. And every 3 months I would go on an epic adventure. I'd go to Thailand, Spain, Paris. I'd go do something epic, even on that budget, because I learned how to travel hack, which is a whole another thing. And you can learn all about it on my website. But learning how to get free flights and hotels, which opened up the world for me. And people kept asking me, how are you doing all of this? As a caregiver, how are you affording all of this? How are you doing it? And tell me more about it. So I actually made a travel blog called The Bucketlist Lifestyle, where I shared my bucket list for the first time. And in sharing that, which was incredibly scary and incredibly vulnerable, I inspired people. People were reaching out to me, just saying how much of an impact, not only me actually living this life, but just actually sharing it with others was for them. And I kept blogging and I kept writing articles and living that life until the point, as I talked about earlier, when I finally wasn't ready, but still made the decision to go all in with the bucket list lifestyle and transition into having my fans who have been following me on my blog join me on these adventures. Wow. So now I just take small groups of them on literally just the world's most epic bucket list items and adventures. And it's a blast. We get to deeply connect with each other, people going through transition, and just people who are just super positive, fun, people who don't want to wait for their broke friends to finally, decide to travel with them. They're ready to go on an adventure and they want to go with fun people. So that's what I get to do, is I get to take them on those adventures and get to see the awe, the look of fun and pure joy and adrenaline and feeling alive. I get to see that on their face, which is exactly it's like reliving that for me. The first time I saw the Taj Mahal, the first time I saw the Eiffel Tower, when I get to see that look, it fills my heart.
Damn, dude, this is freaking awesome. I love it. You're filling us with possibility. Yes, this is the possible interview. We got some people in the audience. By the way, if you have any questions for Chase while he's here, throw them up on the board. Pethia said, it's possible. Love that quote. Tyler Renee said, Chase is brilliant. This man has helped me shift in so many ways. So glad he is in here. And Curtis Melanson said, legit. So this is freaking awesome, dude. What I love is that you are so connected with the spirit of life, why we are here to have an experience on this journey. And so many people have been brainwashed and conditioned and kind of like sheep and cattle to go through life in a box. And you're like, nah, screw that. I'm busting out. But it wasn't until you kind of hit this rock bottom moment and had to take a look at your life and say, okay, I have one way to go and it could end it all. And I have another way, and let's just like what is possible. Like let's just write it out. Like I'm at my wit's end. I'm done. About to give up. Just like let's throw it on a paper. Like fuck it, right? Like why not? And then you just like that act of like maybe there is something possible. Maybe like there was just something cathartic like that channeled through you. I just want to get this out. Yeah. Like was that your your greatness? Was that your greatest possible self like intervening in time, so to speak, and saying, dude, Chase,
that's an interesting thing. That's an interesting actually way of saying it. What I like to see it as this universal energy. You can call it God, you can call it spirit, you can call it universe or energy or luck, right? Call it whatever you want. But for me, it was that slap in the face that I had to have. That was so necessary. And I'm so lucky that I was able to have that slap in the face, especially so young, because I equate it to you spent your whole life and you've painted this beautiful painting. You spent years on this painting. You've made it so perfect and no matter, and you've gotten so much better at it over time. And then some asshole comes with a big old fucking 5-gallon bucket full of black paint and just goes and just throws it all over your artwork. And you go, the thing that you've spent your whole life creating, everything that this is your soul, this is your life, this is everything, and now it's ruined, right? And now it's totally black, and you sit with that. You sit in that pain and that suffering of everything is gone, right? And you become a victim to that person who totally gave you that blank slate, but you don't see it as giving you a blank slate. You see it as the guy who just ruined everything, until that paint eventually, that black paint dries and you're looking at this canvas and you realize, okay, it's not white as it used to be. It's black now, but it's all a solid color. And now it's one color and I can create whatever I want on this canvas. Anything. I get to start over.
You've learned all the lessons of what you painted, the whole lifetime of, I did that stroke, and there's wisdom in those painting strokes and effort and action and learning. Behind that, they're always still there. And so now you get to create after you go through the traumatic experience, after you go through the sadness and the pain and the trauma, because it's very painful. Going through a divorce, going through the death of a friend, going through some of these slaps in the face that the universe will give you, they are horrific, truly. And that's why they're so powerful. You can ask anyone. I guarantee every single person listening to this right now should just think of like what their most important lessons they've ever learned in their entire life. And if you truly think about what those most important lessons are, they're usually tied to your most traumatic experiences. They're usually tied to very bad experiences because our brain, our memories are actually tied to emotion, especially negative emotion. So the more emotional a situation, the more your brain will not let you forget that forever. And it will be a huge staple in your life that everything else is tied around. All these little things that float in your brain are now tied to this major life event that was tied to all of that emotion. And so now your decisions are made from that. And now you can actually choose. You're going to remember it either way. But now you have to choose, what story do you want to tell yourself around that event? What are you choosing to move forward with? Was this an asshole who came up and threw a 5-gallon, bucket of black paint on here and, oh, you're a victim. Oh, he's evil. I'm perfect. It was so great. And you just spend your life in that victim mode? Or are you choosing the perspective of this person? Although, I didn't want that to happen. And I wish that it didn't have to happen that way, but they gave me a blank slate. And now I'm able to do whatever I'd like to do. And I'm so thankful that they gave me a blank slate, because I was painting a picture that I didn't even want to paint. And the outcome would have not made me happy. So I'm curious, a lot of what's coming up is like who we know ourselves to be, right? And a lot of times I talk about identity with the clients that go through Burn It Up coaching. And I hear that when this happens, when these life events happen, it can break open our identity. It can uproot our identity, and like we get the chance to start over again. So how do you relate to that concept of identity and who people are, and when they encounter you, when they first come to you and they're a certain person, and then you work with them or you take them on these experiences and you see them kind of blossom? How does that work for you?
Yeah, it's, first of all, identity is a choice. The way that we see each other, just as everything, simply a perspective, is a choice that comes from awareness. So first, really understanding, who the hell am I? And asking yourself that question. And then you'll say, well, I'm a nurse. I'm 36. I went to college. And then eventually through talking, you realize, oh, those are just things that I do. That's not really who I am. Okay. Deeper, deeper, deeper. And eventually you'll allow yourself to get to the deepest layer of that onion, where you go, I am respect. I am integrity. I am honesty. I am love. I am hurt. I am whatever that is for you, your truth, getting down to that core. And then choosing, saying, okay, these beliefs, these core beliefs of who I am, are they aligned with who I want to be? Because maybe right now, you think you're at your core, your perspective of yourself is, I'm a liar. I'm an asshole. I hurt people. Like all of these things that could be in your core beliefs of who you are at this moment. And perspective is reality. So in this reality, you are an asshole. You are a liar. And understanding as well, now that you are aware of that now you can make the shift and now you can make the change. And that doesn't mean that you have to lie and say, I'm fucking Jesus Christ. I'm perfect. I am rich. I am all this stuff, because that's simply not true. And you will know that it's bullshit. Yeah. However, if there's something that you're attempting to live into that is not currently a part of your reality, shifting that sentence a little bit to, instead of saying, I am a millionaire, for example, that's obviously not true. So you say, at this moment, I am not yet a millionaire. However, I am living into being a millionaire, and I am acting as if I was living into that right now in this moment, and truly choosing powerfully to live into that, and not just lying to yourself, because oftentimes you're either way, whether you're calling yourself an asshole or whether you're calling yourself a millionaire, it's a lie. So let's come to a truth that supports you and actually getting to your vision and becoming the person that you'd want to be.
Yeah, that's powerful, man. It's not letting our current circumstances or reality or perception dictate who we could be or who we could become. So it's like, who am I living into, or who am I becoming? I may not yet be a millionaire, but I am becoming a billionaire. Or a millionaire, a billionaire. I'm acting as if a millionaire, a billionaire. Like, I'm taking these actions. I'm refining my millionaire or billionaire mindset. I am hanging around people who are closer and closer to a millionaire, a billionaire, or, the person of our dreams. So this is all a really deep, subconscious, psychological work. Why does that come up in the bucket list lifestyle? Massively,
because we live very cyclical, monotonous lives where we do the same thing day in, day out. And when you take someone who's been on the hamster wheel of life and you take them out and you take them to Spain, and there's a totally different language, new people, new experiences, and you get them so far outside of their comfort zone. When I'm taking someone on the track of where the bulls run before they run, and I'm explaining, okay, if you fall down, do not get back up, or you will be gored and you will die. Like when you get these experiences where you're like, holy fuck, where am I? What am I doing? What, that's when the who am I really comes forward. And that's when when the identity of I'm a badass because I'm actually going to do this. I'm an adventurer. I can do anything. I can feel this fear and I can do it anyways. Because guess what? Someone who's swimming with great white sharks, they're scared as shit. But guess what? They're going to go into a conversation the next week with their boss and ask for that raise because they stood with their fear and they felt what it feels like to feel it and to do it anyways. And every conversation that they have, they're filled with fear about, with their partner, that they're too scared to have that conversation about, with their boss, with a coworker, with their parents. Now they have this identity shift that was made from getting outside of the comfort zone, where you don't even know people really, they're all new. You can just be totally yourself, just feel comfortable, but also being out of your comfort zone where you can feel that shift being made of, wow, I am a badass. Like I am doing this. I really did it. And it all started with buying a damn plane ticket or, having a conversation with me and just saying like, okay, like we're going to do it. And then when you actually step off that airplane and you're standing there with the group and you're experiencing these things, that's when the real shifts happen. And you never go back. You'll never go back for the rest of your life. What
I love about this is a lot of people who watch the show are coaches, authors, speakers, have done tons of personal development and in the traditional sense of reading, of listening to podcasts, of going to seminars. And there's a certain journey that people go through in these other forms of personal development. It's more of a metaphorical journey, though. In a seminar room, you walk in one person, you walk out a different person because you've done all these processes. How does actually experiencing a journey, like the integrity of that you get to take people on a actual journey to experience transformation, like how does that resonate with you and how does that allow you to show up as your greatest possible self and facilitate these people to grow and have these amazing experiences?
Yeah, well, first of all, as we all know, as any coach on here, speaker, that experiential learning is always going to be more powerful than just teaching someone the way that we've been taught growing up in middle school and elementary school and high school. Getting in front of it, just telling you stuff. I don't care. Like for Tony Robbins, the best guy at teaching stuff. He gets you up. He knows how to like make your brain remember stuff. Guess what? If you just went to UPW, I went to UPW 9 months ago. I can guarantee that 97% of the stuff that he said, you probably still don't remember just off the top of your head because he talked so much. But the experiences you had when you were in a meditation, when he asked a question and that answer came up from within you, those are the experiences that you will never, ever forget. And that's what I try and make happen during my adventures, where, for example, our very next one is to climb to Everest Base Camp in Nepal in the Himalayas. And every single person who goes on that journey and has that experience is going to go through rage. They're going to go through happiness, joy, anger, depression. They will go through every human emotion on their journey, on their trek. Because as you're going through and you're up and you're climbing, you are in a level of like pain day in and day out where you're just like, what am I doing this for? Am I doing this for my Facebook friends or Instagram, or am I fucking doing this for me? You really come to terms when you're standing there in one of the most beautiful locations on the planet, if not the most beautiful location on the planet, with such a powerful energy field, and you're standing there and you're trekking and you're realizing, holy fuck, like I'm truly, I just signed up for this shit so my Facebook friends would think I was cool. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. And then you have to do the mindset of like, okay, why am I really here? You have to make that decision again and again every day. Why am I here? Why am I waking up and doing this? Why am I cold and in pain? And why do I keep doing this? And you have to really come to terms with all of these different emotions that will push you forward, knowing that just like in life, when you tap into these different emotions in life, whether you choose to or not, when those feelings come up, they are pushing you in a direction. But with our trek on our journey that we're going to in a couple months, they always will be pushing you forward. Last time I went last year, I felt every single emotion that I could possibly feel that I know so far, and every single one I needed to push me forward. And knowing that the end of your question, like how does that affect me in actually leading these events, is because I've done all of these things, right? I've been there, I've experienced all of these things before I lead these groups on these adventures, and I know what they're going through, and I know how beautiful it is on the other side. So when someone is in pain and someone's just like, I don't want to do it anymore, I smile because I know, and I try and not smile, honestly. Like I try and like, nope, don't smile. Like that's not what they need right now. But on the inside, I'm so happy because I know what's about to happen for them. Like I know what this conversation, I know what this experience is going to do for them when they don't want to do it and they still buck up and they get up and they do it anyways, and how great they feel when they stand and they see the peak of Everest looking right across from them at the same level. And they're just like, just feeling what it feels like to just really accomplish something that you could never have thought that you would have done, ever.
Damn. oh, this conversation's getting me fired up, baby. Oh, okay. So question. Do you feel like you will ever get to the point where you can't top your last journey, your last adventure? How do you keep finding new ways to keep it fresh, to keep it fun, keep it exciting? Or do you feel like the world is just too freaking massively big that you'll always have new things to discover?
A little bit of both. So here's the thing, is that it doesn't really matter whether we're in Carnival in Rio or whether we're running with the Bulls in Spain. It doesn't really matter. What really matters is the internal journey and the things that happen, the adventure that happens within when you're outside of your comfort zone. So there's plenty of parties, there's plenty of festivals and fun things to experience on this earth. Probably 100 like fairly well-known badass things that you can do. My company does 10. We did the 10 best experiences on earth, and we're really good at those. And I understand that no matter what you go to, you're going to have an internal adventure just as much as you are an external adventure. And there's really one for everyone. So whether you're going to Machu Picchu and trekking through the Peruvian Amazon, or whether you are just like having a caparina in Brazil and, you know, like hanging out with some cuties, like whatever you're doing, like it is going to be an adventure for you, and it's going to be epic beyond anything you could have imagined.
Man, what do you feel people need to hear on the other side of this camera? Because they experience your adventure, your journey, and you going through this. And I would say at this point, they're probably coming up with all kinds of excuses and reasons why not yet, not right now, not ready. So what do you say to those people, and how do you address that?
Remember the very first question that you asked me? Like, you'll never be ready. You'll never be ready. And if you're always waiting for that moment of like, oh, well, I don't know, I don't have enough money or these things, first of all, you don't even know how expensive this shit is. If you have no idea, that's already coming up as an excuse. So know that, oh, well, I don't know how long it would take. Like, I don't have the time. Really? Because if you really wanted this, if this is something you truly wanted to do, then you would make it happen. You would take the time off work to make it happen. You know that 40% of people don't even touch their vacation time at their jobs.
What?
And 51% of the people that do actually don't even use all of it. So there's a massive amount of vacation time for like everyday 9-to-5ers that they aren't even using this stuff. And how much it can help you, not only in your work life, but your personal life. It is necessary to take time off, whether you're going on an epic adventure or whether you're just going in the woods and taking some time off, go to the beach, relax, have you time, get to know yourself, have that adventure within, as I was saying. But what people really need to hear is you got to stop, waiting for your friend to say when the dates will work for them and, when they can save up their money. You got to stop waiting for everything outside of yourself. And you have to just decide, this is something that I want from my life. And when you powerfully choose to have something in your life and you say, it's not an if, it's a how. When you transition to thinking that way and you decide to get resourceful to make it happen, you will make it happen. And that's what people need to hear, is to just like look at all of your excuses, tell them they're bullshit because they are. And if you really wanted it bad enough, there was a gun to your head right now and they said, go on a vacation or die. Guess what? Would you be thinking, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I can get the time off work. And no, you'd be like, okay, I'll make this shit happen, because you would. And that's not just for vacation. That's for everything in life. I know it's a little crazy, but I think that way. I actually think when I come up against a wall and I say like, man, I don't know how I'm going to make this happen. Like, I really don't think so. I literally think in my head, and I actually haven't ever told anyone this, but I literally think in my head, if someone had a gun to my head right now and they were going to pull the trigger if I couldn't make this happen, and I had to make it happen, or if I was going to die, how would I make this happen? Boom.
Wow.
Flood of information, flood of ideas come through. If I could call this person, I could get a loan from this person, I could do, and doesn't mean you have to do all of those things, because some of them are going to be a little crazy. I'd rob a fucking bank. I'll do whatever needs to be done. But here's the thing, is that once you get those resourceful cogs, spinning and turning in your head, that's when a couple ideas come up of like, oh yeah, I didn't even think that my friend, he was asking me if he needs me to post about my event on his Facebook wall. Maybe I could just ask him to do this, and then all his friends know. And Things
this
like that.
possibility. It's tapping into that possibility that we were talking about earlier. It's like people are so comfortable living in unpossibility that it takes this metaphor, this experience, this, what would you do if, putting ourselves in a resourceful state because someone has a gun to your head, for example, to create that possibility. That's amazing, man.
I love it, man. And I think you guys want to hear a really cliche personal development, quote.
Bring it on.
It's not a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness.
Yes.
And it's cliche, but it's so true. It's cliche for a reason. People say it all over the world for a damn good reason, that it's never a lack of resources. It's always a lack of resourcefulness.
Tyler Renee said, power of imagination to create resourcefulness. And I think that was even before you said that cliche thing.
Hey, me and
she read
Tyler,
your mind.
we're on the same wavelength. She's here in San Diego. I know Tyler. She's amazing. You should even consider having her on your show. She's so dope.
She's amazing. Yes. Tyler, you're coming on the show. Chase just gave you the stamp of approval. I love it. So between the adventures, between the journeys, how do you stay amped up? How do you create fun? How do you create adventure and keep the adrenaline flowing? How do you deliver the value to your audiences?
Yeah, well, first of all, let's take apart what adventure is. Mm-hmm. Adventure doesn't mean that you have to be out of the country. It doesn't mean you have to spend money on it. It's just something that takes you just outside of your comfort zone. It's that feeling that you get when you're lost, but you didn't have anything else to do anyways. So you're just exploring. And that's why the adventure could be inside or outside, it's exploration. And it's the experiences you have just on the edge of that comfort zone. And this is where I love it, is that on my adventures, the guaranteed every single time, the most memorable, important experiences that people have on my trips are always in between the lines of the itinerary. It is in the moments when we're walking to a temple in the middle of nowhere in a small town, and we meet a family and we walk in and they're celebrating and they're pounding on drums, and we get blessings from the grandmother and she makes us sweets, and we get to hang out with little kids and dance and play guitar. And it's like, those are the experiences in between. So understanding that adventure is everywhere. It can be in a conversation. It can be in okay, I'm trying to start my business and I need $10,000. Okay, this is an adventure. Right now is an adventure. And so we often think that adventure is tied to fun and adrenaline and jumping off of tall things. And that's not necessarily true. And seeing your life as an adventure and seeing that, okay, keeping myself just on the edge of that comfort zone. And another cliche personal development one. You ready for it?
Let's go, baby.
The growth zone, right on, the edge of the comfort zone is where you grow, of course.
Yes.
So, so I think just really changing your perspective on adventure and understanding that, okay, it's Saturday and I have today, it's already halfway through the day, and I have tomorrow off work. What can I do? Let's go on an adventure. Cool. All right. So I'll think of 3 things right off the top of my head. This is what I would do if I was sitting with a friend and they just said, let's go on an adventure. I'd say, okay, option 1, we can get in the car and start driving and just figure everything else out from there. Let's grab some power bars and some waters and let's just go. No thinking, wherever the wind takes us, let's just go. Option 2, we're going to drive downtown. We're going to park our car. We're going to leave our cell phones in the glove box, and we're going to get lost. And we're going to get lost for 3 hours. And our goal is to find the best bakery in the city. And we go around and we just walk and we just get absolutely lost. Every time that we think, oh, I want to take a right, you should take a left. Every time that you take a left and you want to take a left, you take a right. And you absolutely force yourself to get lost.
Wow.
And then the very last thing is to say, okay, let's go on an adventure. Let's actually sit for 5 minutes and let's have a deep conversation about something that you don't want to talk about. Tell me something that you don't want me to know about you. And have an adventure within. And sit and eye gaze and sit on the edge of that comfort zone and grow together.
Damn, man. I love this. I love this. Oh my gosh. This is gold, Chase. This is gold. So adventure can be created anywhere and there's no rules. on how to create the adventure. There's no rules on how to create the fun. It's like just imagine and play and give yourself. It's almost like you can design a context of, okay, what do I want to fulfill in this adventure? I want to fulfill getting lost and just like go with that. The second is I want to fulfill letting the wind take me where it's going to take me, letting the intuition guide me. I want to fulfill going on an internal journey. So it's like we can create these games and almost like you didn't say it, but these are like little rules or little things that we can add to it, little flares, little flourishes that completely change the perspective of what's important, what's the quote unquote objective, how do we get the most out of this, what will guide this experience. And I think that in every area of life, whether it's actually going on an adventure or even in our businesses, like you said, raising $10,000, we can put the flourish on how do I make this a game? How do I make this fun? How do I find the joy in this? Well, I can create a timer, and every hour I see how many calls I made, or, I see how many points I got, or I see whatever, right? Whatever thoughts came up. Yeah. We can create these different paradigms or different games and rules to have like so much fun in life, and the possibilities are infinite.
I love it. And I think one thing I'd love to change the wording though, because you said like a potential rule. I think it's intention is what is the word, is like, okay, what is our intention in this, and allowing that intention to guide your experience.
Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. Because rule, there's like negative connotation with rule. People don't like rules.
and guess what? When you have an intention in something, but it turns out to be something totally different, you just roll with that. And so my intention is to, like go super deep and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you end up playing and having fun. Don't be like, no. We need to stop. We need to be serious for a second. No, go with that, because that's, as long as that's not, like deflecting or something, as long as that's just the way that it truly wants to be had, then allow it.
I love it. I love it. I got a question for you, Chase. In addition to fun and adventure, why do you think people love having you around?
Honesty. I think that's that's one of the biggest things, is that like my top three values are integrity, freedom, and honesty. And I think that when people are around me and they have a question for me, I'll ask for permission before I say something that could be somewhat off-putting, but I will always, whether you want to hear it or not, if you're going to ask me a question, you're going to know that you're going to get the real answer. And I live with 3 women in my house. There's 3 women and me. So I'll get a question about guys, about like, I don't know, is he into me? I don't know. And I'm like, no, he's not, because he hasn't called you in a week. He's not into you. Like, and that's the thing, is like, and they appreciate that and they respect that, because they don't want another, oh no, you're fine, everything's great. Because we have enough of those people. We have enough yes men and yes women in our lives, and that are everywhere, too scared to actually say what they think, to actually be able to speak their truth and to be kind. I think that's the one of the shifts that I've made in the last 3 months. A friend of mine told me, he goes, he was going through a breakup, and he goes, the 2 rules that I have during this breakup, when I want to speak my truth, is be honest and be kind. And it's not either or. Be honest and be kind. And I've taken those rules into other areas of my life, where when I'm thinking of like, okay, how can I share this? Okay, how can I speak my truth and be kind in speaking this truth?
Man, powerful. How do you see the vision of either the bucket list lifestyle or the world in general in the next 3, 5, 10 years? How do you see things unfolding, and how are you responsible for that vision being created?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for asking this question. First of all, my business and the world are 2 very different things. However, they do actually flow into each other. So the reason behind my business is that the more people travel and the more that we experience other cultures and other kinds of ways of living, the more oneness we will feel, the more we'll understand that we are truly all one, and the more we understand that we are all cousins and we're all family, as opposed to the other, the unknown, where of course fear arises. That's when peace can really be had, and understanding. And that's not going to happen in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years for the world. However, I still hold that vision for the world strongly. And I hold that for the vision of the people who go on my trips, the people who join my coaching. I strongly hold that vision for them and myself of remembering that we are truly all family, and every single person acts the way they act for a damn good reason. We all start out pure, and things happen to us, and you can blame the things that happen to us instead of the people, and that'll get you out of your damn victim mentality.
Wow. Dude, that's powerful. So with your bucket list lifestyle, how does that fulfill on that vision?
Well, not only does it actually take people to these experiences, and we have a lot of local experiences. So we have locals all the time with us, like whether, and yes, I'll be honest, some of it is in a, like, they are working for us as well as with us. So our, like having drivers, and we usually have like a chef and people who are there, but also I hire local tour guides to guide with me. So I'm there always, and I have my local tour guide with me as A, translator, and B, they just know the streets even better than I do. So we always have local interaction, and going to local restaurants, we don't go to chains, we don't go to the big stuff. We always stay, unless maybe once in a trip we'll go to a Michelin star just for fun. But in general, just trying to have the real experiences that most people don't get. So for example, like when I'm taking my group to Brazil this upcoming February, we're going to get to dance in the parade with the Brazilian people. We're not going to be just sitting another person paying for a ticket to watch. Like, we're going to be experiencing it and actually being in it, and having experiences that most other people could never have. And that's the whole point of my groups being small and me already going there and knowing friends there, is I'm able to have these experiences. So yeah, when you ask how do they really like align into each other, how does the bucket list lifestyle, is because I'm giving people opportunities to experience these things safely, and still it's almost like a roller coaster of like, they know they're safe, and it's still kind of like it's new and it's different, and sometimes it's a little scary, and I see my business growing exponentially over the next 3 to 5 years, and in fact 1 year, and over the next 1 year even, more and more people are asking me to take people on trips, and for their mastermind groups and for their corporate events and things like that. So it is growing really, really fast, as well as the trips that we already offer. So I'm very excited, and just the more people that I can create a space that, the more safe spaces that I can create around the world, that people can go and have their transformations and have fun. Because remember that these are not personal development retreats. These are actually adventures for fun. However, in that adventure, people have their own transformations. Every single person, I just went to Holi last week in India. Every single person, when they were talking to me afterwards, told me about a transformation they had. Massive transformations. So it's always going to happen, but it's not marketed that way. It's not put as grow and all this stuff. It's just have fun.
Right. Do you cater mostly to personal development people, or these kind of professional entrepreneurs? Like, how do you see who you're attracting?
Yeah, so all my friends are personal development nerds, so like, and coaches and stuff. So it's and a lot of the people that go on these trips are friends of friends, or friends of the people who've already been on the trips who are talking, because they're like, oh, so dope, everything. Yeah. And so yeah, it is oftentimes personal development nerds. Also, people who are, because the way that I market it, it's application only. So you have to talk to me, have a conversation before you're allowed on the trip, and that's super, super important, because I only want positive, fun people, no complainers. I don't want anyone on there who's negative. Obviously, you can speak your truth, but you can just do it in a way of like, hey, my air conditioner's broken. Can we get that fixed? As opposed to like, oh my God, this sucks. I'm at work. Like, I don't want that. And of course, like, that's the voice I use. I've never had anyone on my trip that voice.
I love it, man. I love it. So you find that it's mostly people who are already doing personal development, already doing the work, and they're looking for something that's unique. They know that there's something more in the personal development, in all the reading and seminars and stuff, and this is an experience that will facilitate their growth and having fun and an adventure, but like be different and outside the box. And
I'd actually say no. So I'd say most people aren't thinking that way. When they sign up for the trip, they think, I want to go have fun, and I want to go check this off my bucket list item. People aren't thinking They're not personal development people who are thinking, oh, what's the next step for me in my growth? They're thinking, oh, wow, other really fun, positive people who are super dope, and Chase is leading this. I want to join that. So it really isn't a people looking for personal development. Growth. It's people, they just happen to be people who are super positive and fun. And also there's plenty of, I guess you call it everyday people like accountants and engineers and just people with jobs who haven't done a lot of personal development work, who are just fun, positive people, because it's not that, oh, just because you don't do personal development, you haven't done Tony Robbins, you haven't done Landmark. Or ALA,
sorry, can't talk to you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, they're still super fun. And it's great because of the different perspectives on life, different perspective on problems. Every night we get together and we're talking. We have bus rides, little van rides that we take together, and at nighttime we're having dinner and we're talking about deep shit. Hey, this is what's going on for me, blah, blah, blah. And what are your spiritual beliefs? What do you think about polyamory? What do you think about, we're talking about everything because we all have different perspectives, but it's still in such a safe space where we can go deep with each other because we become friends so fast. Because when you're in an environment that is outside of your comfort zone, you band together naturally. And when you're so fun and positive already, and everyone's approximately the same age group, so it's like people between the ages of about 23 and 37 are like the general group age. And that's like, people are like, cool, this is my tribe.
I love it, man. I love it. Chase, this is gold. We're beginning to wrap up now. And is there a final, we can talk about how people could stay connected with you and what you want them to do next, per se. But the final invitation into a new paradigm, a new reality because of their time invested with us here today.
Yeah, I would definitely say that you don't need to drop everything in your life, and you don't need to quit your job and sell everything you own in order to go and live the life that you want to live. You can, if you have a job, if you have a business, whatever you have, you can have both. Don't think of life as an either or, where it's, okay, I can either go and complete these things on my bucket list and I can do all this stuff, or I can have a car and, a job and a paycheck and security. Thinking of life as, okay, how can I make this happen? As opposed to which one do I want, either or. I think that's probably the biggest statement that I'd like to make around just living a life of adventure and being able to do that and have a quote unquote normal life with either a paycheck or making money from your business or however you're doing it.
That's beautiful. Beautiful, man. I love it. I love it. So Chase, what do people do next? How do they stay connected with you?
Yeah, everyone who is listening to this, I'm sure you're a dope person. Add me on Facebook. Honestly, there's my name is right there. So, and I always like to connect with people. So add me on Facebook. I'll send you a voice message, and we'll just chat, just like people. I don't want anything from you. I just want to connect with dope people. And I mean, people who are really being pulled by Chris's energy are probably pretty fun, energetic, positive people. So yeah, that thebucketliftlifestyle.com. Tons of stuff on how to get free flights, free hotels. I've been doing this for years and years, and how to join us on one of our adventures. So yeah, those are the two best ways to connect. Dude, for sure.
I love it. Chase, you are the man. Thank you for the work that you're doing in the world, opening up whole new paradigms of people, for people to step into, of possibility, man. And this interview has been a blast. We love your energy, and thank you for the work that you do and the impact that you're having on this planet, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris. And honestly, you're dope. You're so much energy, and I love it. I love what you're doing, and everyone listening, just stay tuned because there's more badass people coming up.
That's right. Chase, you're going to be back on the show, man. I want to hear about some adventures, some fresh new adventures.
Oh, there's
done
plenty.
with them, man.
All right,
awesome.
brother.
We'll see you soon, okay?
See ya. Bye.
All right. Take care.